evidential basis.
Denise Roche.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. I'm rising to take the Green Party call on this to oppose this bill. I was going to list everything I could think of that was wrong with it, but I don't have time. But I'll go into some of the problems that we see with it. This bill seeks to emasculate local government. Its overall intention is to reduce the ability of councils to respond to their communities. It seeks to wrest away power that they have currently and give it to someone else. It seeks to force amalgamations of local authorities, enhancing the powers of the Local Government Commission and removing the democratic right of people most affected by local government to have a say about it. And I can give you first-hand experience of what this feels like. I'm a survivor of the forced amalgamation in Auckland, and actually there are several others in the room, and I acknowledge former City Councillor Paul Goldsmith. I acknowledge former North Shore Mayor Andrew Williams. I acknowledge Sam Lotoa-Inga, and I also acknowledge the former Mayor John Banks. My community, Waiheke Island, was absolutely livid about the removal of our right to choose whether we wanted to be part of that super city amalgamation. And I don't care what the Auckland Central MP, Nikki Kay, says about empowering. That's not what happened. We were disemboweled in Auckland. Our rights were taken away from us, and it was her government that did it. We know from experience like Waiheke that local government, or any type of democracy really, works best when the people know their local representatives, when they can eyeball them in the supermarket and chew their ear off and make them accountable. That is how they get to be engaged in their communities. And when people do that, they're actively participating in local decision making, and that's when we get real democracy. We need that to happen more, not less. Nearly a third of all New Zealand voters didn't bother to vote at the last general election. Contrast that with the fact that about a quarter of the submissions on the super city amalgamation legislation came from 0.8% of the 1.4 million people in Auckland. That came from the Hauraki Gulf, 0.8%. They are active and engaged. And their concern, and the concern we share about this bill, is that the local was being removed from local government. We're concerned that this bill is going to steal the heart out of local government. It wants to remove the four well-beings. It wants to remove the requirement for councils to provide for the social, economic, environmental and cultural well-being of communities. They were a huge breakthrough, these words, in 2002. They underpinned a whole bunch of things that councils with heart do, and they do it in a very cost-effective manner. They recognise that local government's got a role to create and support safe and vibrant, healthy communities. In the words of David Hay, Mr Goldsmith's good friend and the leader of the Citizens and Ratepayers cabal that was in the former Auckland City Council, and he was the Deputy Mayor then, he says he has always maintained that councils should focus on rates, roads and rubbish, and that's what this bill wants to do. Take everything else away and just focus on that. And he was really outraged about libraries because he didn't see that councils had a role in educating, like Maggie Barry, I guess, like educating or inspiring the people who live in our communities. I feel for our local councillors. I am heartened by Local Government New Zealand because their research is accurate research. They can show that over the last 3 years, the rates increase has maintained, it's been steady at 2.8% of household income. That's all that's being spent on rates. We are prudent financial governors in the local sector. And for this government to disembowel democracy and local government is beyond the pale. It's another move that should be resisted.
A point of order, Andrew Williams.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. I would like to table an extract from an address by the Right Honourable John Key, Prime Minister, to the 2011 Local Government New Zealand Conference, where he stated the government is keen
No,
to...
you don't need to go into it. You've told us where it's from. Leave us sought for that purpose. Is there anyone opposed to that course of action? There is opposition. It won't be tabled. Paul Goldsmith.
Well, thank you.